beaten Berea a number of times in that championship game since Berea has joined the USA South. How does Piedmont get back to that point here today and go through the Eastern Division's champion in William Peace?
Well, starting off, the Piedmont Lions, they have just a consistency of excellence like you talked about, making it to the championship. This could be their 4th consecutive year making it to that level. And, part of that's coaching, part of that's just great players on the roster, starting with Amari Price coming into this game. She is just balling out, averaging 12 points a game for the Lions, and just continues to be that leader for this team that they really need. And she's a senior, so she wants to win it, her 4th and final year coming out of the conference, and just speaks to a testament of how great the program is.
Indeed, Lane. We've got about 3 minutes before this game kicks off. Going down that lineup, I saw Piedmont doesn't run a lot of players necessarily out there on the court. Really only 6, maybe 7 players got a ton of effort, a lot of time at least, and got on that stat sheet in their last game that they had. Now, if you're the Peace Pacers, you have to keep that in mind, saying, okay, they have to play not just today, but tomorrow too if they move through us. So they can't just go all out with their normal 5, right? They're going to have to look a little deeper into their bench here in a tournament aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point, well spoken. Really just try to run them, You may not get up early, but push the pace, because if you can get them tired, it's going to force them to go deeper into the bench, which what you spoke about, they don't normally go to the bench a whole lot, and we'll see what kind of production that they can get from that, 8th, 9th, 10th player off the bench.
Coach Jamie Purdy here out of Piedmont in her 15th season, looking to continue this long streak of success for the Lions. It should be a lot of fun to watch, while Graham Smith, the Eastern Division Conference champion, the Eastern Division champion and the Coach of the Year for the USA South, is going to be, he's a high mark here to go down and knock off Purdy. That is not an easy, team to knock off at all in the playoffs, considering how successful Piedmont has been in the past. But if anyone's going to do it, might as well be them, right? That's what he's got to be telling his girls.
And this is only his 2nd season to be able to completely turn this program around. They started the first couple of years less than stellar, finishing towards the bottom of the division standings, but to be at the top this year, to be in this position to, fight for a championship, I think it's awesome and well-deserved Coach of the Year honors.
So with that, folks, we're just about ready to announce our starting lineups for today's game. First, for William Peace. Looking down their starting lineup here on the court, it's going to be Khadijah Daniels, Lauren Cross, Jamisha. Remember, Jamisha, I was talking to her earlier today during their walkthrough. She said it's not Jamesha or Jamesha or whatever. No, it's Jamisha. So we got that knocked down. Jamisha Sanders, and she is darn good, Lane. So we should have a good time watching her today. Michaela Ray and then Sierra Baker rounding out that starting lineup for the Pacers. Over on the side of the Lions, we've got Amari Price. He talked about
one and her leadership on the defensive end, especially active hands, getting in there, disrupting the offense, and that's going to be huge.
So with that, as the rest of the William Peace players come out to join their squad, Emily Wiley, Carla Cantrell, Brittany Walker, Nakia Washington will be out there for the Lions. It's going to be a great matchup here. Man, what great basketball here in the USA South that we're getting to see here tonight in the Seabury Center. Great gym here, obviously. Still a good amount of fans sticking around. A little bit of the Berea side, it seemed the local crowd has left, but still we've got a nice amount of people here cheering on these two teams. Piedmont, William Peace, those aren't close drives, so to see their fan base come and support them, that's awesome to see the environment that these two USA South teams have created.
Yep, and a lot of the Berea fans staying here, as you mentioned, some left, some are staying.
Well, they want to see, right?
Exactly, see who they're going to end up playing in the championship game tomorrow, and I think that's important, and gives them a little bit of a scouting report, if you will, just to see how they handle, Piedmont, how Piedmont handles William Peace and vice versa, and I think it's a great idea to stay around and watch some good basketball.
And so Brittany Walker for Piedmont will stand out at center court.
And she is standing at a 6'3". That's a lot of
towering
size.
6'3". And she is much higher off the ground than Jamisha Sanders, who will go with her. Well, we'll see who will win the jump. Sometimes, bigs, sometimes they don't have an easy time getting off the ground. We'll see, indeed, if she is the tipping specialist. Indeed, she will win that tip. It will be hauled in, however, by the Pacers. And they've got it right now. Here is Daniels. Khadijah Daniels has that ball stolen by guess who? Amari Price.
And there was, just like I talked about before we started, that great defense leads to good offense, and they get the transition bucket as number 40, Washington, knocks that down.
Here now is Cross. Pacers handing it off now. Here now is Daniels. Daniels over to Jamisha Sanders. Sanders in the lane, blocked there by the towering Brittany Walker, and Price will have it. Amari Price now gives it over to her teammate in Cantrell. Carla Cantrell, nowhere really to go on the perimeter. It's going to be stolen away. Good steal by Michaela Ray. Moving in transition, she's going to have to beat 3 Lions to get there, and Price has another steal. That's 2 already here in the first minute.
And that's what she's so good at, a great two-way player, getting active hands on the defensive end, and then leading her offense on the other side as well. She shoots that jumper and knocks
rattles
it out.
Around and goes in. Beautiful look there by Amari Price. Gotta love to see that on the Piedmont side, her getting going early. Lane, that's something we didn't talk about too much in that first game between Berea and Maryville because there wasn't a lot of offense in the early going. But how important is it to get your guys, right, your big shooters going in the early parts of these, especially conference games?
Yeah, and basketball is a game of momentum. If you can see the first couple of shots go through the net, it's going to give you enough confidence to keep shooting throughout the game, and confidence is key.
Washington will pull down that rebound. Now here's Emily Wiley. Wiley nearly losing that ball, but she'll be able to at least defend it. In the active hands there of Baker. And now here's Washington. 15 to shoot here for the Lions. Price will have it. She's got some time. 10 seconds now. She's guarded by Daniels. Washington, the 3 from the top, no good, and pulled in by Daniels. However, the Lions are right there. A great feed to Walker on the low block, and they take a 6-point lead.
And that's why it's so important to box out on the defensive end. You got to make sure you secure those possessions. You play 24 seconds of great defense, and then you give it away, get an easy look. You got to make sure you're boxing out, securing that board, and ending the possession.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the eye test here, Lane, as Piedmont's going to get yet another rebound. That one coming from Price as she heaves it down court for Wiley. Wiley goes strong, no good. Good offensive board there for Piedmont. That's Carla Cantrell getting it done, and the Pacers have to call a timeout after an 8-0 run to start. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. Now, what I was going to say, I'm a big fan of the eye test. I don't want to jump out too early here and say this, but when I'm looking over at the Peace Pacers, they're struggling here under the spotlight.
Absolutely. They've never really been in this position before. Like I said earlier, this is the coach's second season and their first playoff berth. And, they might not be ready initially, but I think they are a good team. There's a reason that they've got to this position, and they can adjust as the time goes on. But really, starts on that rebounding. They've given up a couple easy looks right here, playing tough defense and then giving away the offensive putback.
Pacers looking to get on the board for the first time today. 8-0 lead here for Piedmont. And here's Cross. A nice feed there, except Daniels will not be able to get it. They're wanting it as a tip off of one of the Piedmont players. However, no dice to the officials. Here now is Price. Amari Price will cross the timeline, looks to run a play for her Piedmont Lions. Here's Washington. Now Price, good defense by Daniels. 17 to shoot. She'll skip now over that ball, taken away. A nice steal there for Baker, and she's going to look to go coast to coast, and she's got the Pacers' first points here of the afternoon.
Absolutely, and a great example of defense turning into offense. We've seen that a lot today. If you can force the other team into a mistake and capitalize on the other end, it's like a 4-point swing for you.
Here now is Price. Guarded by Daniels. Good active hands by Khadijah Daniels on the perimeter. I like to see that out of Peace.
And that's something that you're going to need because Price normally a really good ball handler.
Now Price driving baseline. Had a good find there at least. A good idea trying to feed Walker on the low block. Just couldn't quite execute that threading the needle pass.
Yep, and that's a good look from Price. You want to get your bigs involved early because the more involved they are on the offensive end, the more likely they're going to play hard in defense and especially rebounding as well.
Substitutions coming in here for Piedmont. That's going to be number 15 and Kelly Ackerman, number 31 Regine Newkirk. Making an exit will be Walker, and that also will be Wiley.
And Piedmont trying to get some fresh legs in here, keep their rotation players going, and get them warmed up.
Got to, because you're playing again tomorrow here in 24 hours, not even.
But first you got to win the game.
Of course, of course. Here now is the long three on the way. No good. It's going to be pulled in by Sanders. Sanders not pleased that went as a jump ball. She wanted to pull that ball away, and that's good on Piedmont, at least getting their hands in there and understanding that, really, we don't have to get the rebound necessarily. We just got to make sure that you don't get an easy second chance bucket.
Absolutely. Anytime that you can just stop them from getting another look, and that's something that the Pacers have struggled with so far, is really just stopping those possessions. You play defense, you got to finish it out with a rebound.
Amari Price in the lane, fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws.
So free throws are going to be huge, as we saw in the last game. That was really the deciding factor that ended up giving Berea the edge as they won. Free throws. Can you get free throws first of all, and then once you get to the line, can you knock them down? Can you make them count?
First free throw good from Price. So 2-9 here in favor of Piedmont. I think I called William Peace University Peace a couple of times. I know it's a school that's merged here in recent history, I suppose. Was just Peace, right, when it was an all-girls school. Now
Right.
William Peace. They both have men and women's sports.
Where's the ball?
Here's Cross looking inside. She's got her mark, going up strong. No call there, and it will stay indeed with the Pacers. Not a terrible look inside for, I believe that was Michaela Ray. Hard to see through the traffic. A lot of bodies in there underneath the hoop.
Absolutely.
And the long pass into Sanders. Now Khadijah Daniels going strong to the hole. That one no good. And pulled in quite effectively there by, not by Rennie. That would be Newkirk.
And a good idea from the Pacers right there. Good idea by Daniels to get it inside, and had a great look at the layup, just couldn't convert that one.
Cantrell will kick it back out now, and that's going to be a foul called on Cross. So good job there by Piedmont getting the easy foul call. That's not going to hurt them one bit. They were kind of scrambling a little bit, kind of bailed them out a little bit if you're on the William Peace side.
Honestly, gives you a chance to set up your defense. You'll live with that foul, let you get into your sets, and anytime that you have a chance to set up your defense is going to be often more effective than trying to get back in transition.
Score is 2-9 in favor of the Lions still. 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in this one. Wiley here for 2, can't hit. Rebound goes to the Pacers.
And created a good look with that ball fake, and great step back jumper, just couldn't convert that one.
Now driving into the lane for the Pacers, a beautiful look for Sierra Baker, and a 5'7" guard out of North Carolina. Able to get her team the 4th point of the game. Really kind of a slow start for the Pacers, but you know what? Maybe they can set the pace, if you will, pun intended, and make some adjustments here in this first quarter. It's not done. I would give it up to Piedmont yet. They haven't won the quarter.
No, it's still alive, and the ball's still alive as they continue to fight for rebounds.
And they're going to get bailed out as Piedmont travels there. That's going to be a travel called on Newkirk.
And a couple substitutions in for the Piedmont Lions. Number 34, Walker, checking back in.
A definite presence down low as we will now see Lauren Cross. That'll be Kelly Ackerman check out. Good job by Ackerman to come in, not give up much on defense. Only 2 points allowed here through 5 minutes and 50 seconds, and Ackerman going to check right back in. So,
just coach had to come talk to you, sub you out right quick, and then she's back into the game.
Thinking about it now is Walker. Here now is Lauren Cross. Lauren Cross over now to Holloway. And now here going to the baseline is going to be Michaela Ray. And now off the bench, not a bad look for Sydney Austin, and she's going to find herself on the free throw line shooting 2.
And something that we noticed in the last game was foul trouble. That was big, and maybe the Pacers trying to copy that style a little bit here, be aggressive, get to the free throw line, cause the bigs to get into some foul trouble. If you can get big Walker out of there, that's going to create open driving lanes, and do they have another shot blocker?
First free throw is no good, rolls off the rim and falls on the wrong side of the cylinder here for the Pacers. It's Sydney Austin at the free throw line. 6-foot junior out of I'm going to try this. Ocracoke, North Carolina? I don't know. I'm a northern boy here, so my southern lingo might not be so strong. I saw okra, and I was like, that's kind of right, but not spelled right. I don't know. Whatever.
Is it deep fried? That's the question.
That is the question. And from Cracker Barrel. I'm a fan of that. Either way, I'm getting hungry now. We got to get back to basketball. Price misses that 3. It's going to be rebounded by the Pacers. Good job by Michaela Ray to corral that one. And a nice move in transition. The bucket goes for Sierra Baker, and this is suddenly a 2-point ball game.
Yep, and that's that old school Laker drill. You get the rebound, you don't want the ball to touch the floor. Keep moving it with passes, and they get a great look ahead and a great bucket. Easy points.
Here's Wiley looking inside, throws it away. Pacers ball.
And the Lions looking a little sped up here. You know, they thought they had control initially in this game, and now the Pacers are roaring back with some great defense.
It's funny, actually, how I was saying earlier how the Pacers didn't seem like they were ready to play at this, at the speed
They
at least.
heard you call them out.
Apparently, because now they're really out there running. You love to see a team make an adjustment like that in the tournament, and it's a tie ball game. Beautiful look there, rolling it off the backboard and rim, and in goes Lauren Cross.
And the travel call right there, just one too many steps as she leaned away with it. Holloway at the turnover.
Coach Purdy not pleased with the communication or lack thereof for the Piedmont Lions. Want her team to communicate a little bit more, know who's going to be open, so you're not having those hesitations where you end up taking the extra step.
And communication's key in every aspect of the game. You got to know what your teammates are doing so you know what to do.
Lane, good call there, going for them attacking Brittany Walker as they will give her second foul of the game. They're going to have to get her out right now as Washington will check back in.
Yep, and that's something that I had mentioned earlier. Walker, getting in foul trouble. I think that's an area that the Pacers can look to capitalize on. Keep forcing the issue in there. I'm not sure exactly how deep Piedmont's willing to go into that bench and what kind of bigs they have to provide some rebounding and shot blocking presence.
Well, they're going to have to hope that Washington can continue her impressive streak that she's had all year, as Jamie Purdy's going to call a 30-second timeout. Back to what I was saying about Washington, she's averaging 13 points a game. 6.5 rebounds per game as well. That's a nice mark for her. Between her and Amari Price, those are two good hoopers for Piedmont. You got to think that, a 1-point deficit right now in the first isn't what they want to be at right now. Obviously, they like to get ahead and run teams out of the gym. But right now, they're fine. Both teams right now have played a fine basketball.
Yeah, both teams, just trying to get it up and down the court. And like you had mentioned, Washington averaging 13 points, Price averaging 12. So anytime you can get 25 points between just two players, that's going to be great. And we're going to see what kind of impact the other players can have. They have 4 players currently averaging double digits at least. So a lot of scoring from the Piedmont Lions.
Over on the side of the Pacers, of course, the biggest scorer for them is, I believe that'd be Chandler for them, Stephanie Chandler, who we have not seen yet in this game.
And Sanders also providing a good scoring presence at 13
I was going to say,
points.
Yeah, it's all the way down at the bottom of the stat sheet. I was like, why is it down there? She ought to be up top. Here now is Price. Price working to the left. She's going to try to go baseline. Now kicks out to Wiley for the triple. That one no good and rebounded by Ray. Now handing it up now is a nice look, and the mid-range jumper no good from Sierra Baker. And now Price is going to have it.
Piedmont had a great look at a three-pointer right there as Price drove the baseline, kicked it out to the corner three. I'd say they want to run that again, good look for a good shooter.
I would say that, a player like Price is going to draw a lot of attention as Washington puts up the three and drills the three. Gives Piedmont now the lead up 12-11.
And it's great anytime in the first quarter where you can hit a couple threes, that opens up the offense. It forces them to guard you out there, which is going to create more driving lanes and more room for your big to operate down low.
And that goes back to the point that, Amari Price, Washington, both of those two, they draw a lot of attention, right? And with that, you're going to see a lot more double teams come out of that down low. And as you were saying, it opens up a lot of good passing lanes. Here's Washington now. Washington, the mid-range two, no good, rebounded by the Pacers. Lauren Cross is off and running. He's going to give now over to Baker. Baker thinks about the step-back three and will give now over to Cross. Cross, the three. Knocked down, no indeed, it's long off the iron, and it's pulled in by Price. Price now feeding it up to Washington. The stop, pop, shot, and transitions, no good. A nice pickup there by Price, and it's no good.
And
a lot of action.
A lot of opportunities to score right there. Piedmont a little frustrated, can't get those buckets to go, but you're getting plenty of looks and a little lax in concentration right there.
Indeed, as it seemed as if running down the court was number 15, Kelly Ackerman for Piedmont. And Sierra Baker dives for a basketball that Ackerman wasn't looking for, and she ends up colliding with Ackerman and maybe forcing her to come out of the game. No, indeed, she seems to be good for it. She took a shot there, but
she definitely did. Anytime you get hit to the noggin, you want to be very cautious with that. A concussion's not worth going back in there, but looked like she was fine. Maybe the hit just scared her a little bit, but she's going to remain on the court for the Piedmont Lions.
Mackenzie will inbound. She'll give it now over to Price. Price guarded by Mariah Parton out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Scratch that. That's Crystal Jerome.
And they hit the deck as she is fighting hard on the defensive end, and you like to see that effort from Mackenzie, just getting into the face of Price.
So 1:11 left to play here in the first quarter. Piedmont leads by just 1.
All right, correction, that was Jerome, not Mackenzie. My bad on that call.
Here now is Mackenzie. Passing now over to Wiley. Carla Cantrell giving now inside. That's going to be a foul called on William Peace. That foul going up against Sydney Austin. It's her first foul here of the game.
And that was a good look for Piedmont, trying to get that cut. And a substitution in for the William Peace Pacers is going to be number 35, Kiara Williams.
Staying at 6'2" out of High Point, North Carolina. You got to think adding a little size down there, trying to slow this up maybe a little bit and run their offense.
Yep, and then rebounding. That's really where she can help out on this one. The Pacers have given up a couple second chance opportunities. Maybe they think that by going big, they'll be able to secure those defensive possessions.
Here now, the free throw is no good off back iron and rebounded there, as you were saying, Lane, by Kiara Williams. Jerome now gives it up to her teammate in Parton.
You're good, Carla. She's like you.
Mariah Parton guarded by Holloway. Scratch that, guarded by Ackerman. Now Sanders moving to the right with a little lane. Will kick now out to Parton. The three, that one's good off the banking board. And Piedmont now trails by 1 as William Peace pulls ahead 14-13.
And great leadership by Sanders right there, directing traffic, calling for that screen, and then a great pass for a teammate open on the 3.
Nice move there, going straight to the hole is Mackenzie. As now she will give Piedmont the lead. So a nice back and forth here in the first. As Jerome, trying to look over the trees, will pass up to her teammate Eva Holloway. Holloway, a look at the hoop. That one off the glass, no good. A little too hard on that finger roll lane. And we've got 10 seconds left in the quarter. Here now the stop pop shot at the buzzer, no good. It's going to be rebounded by Parton, and that's going to do it. I said at the buzzer, I was a little premature on that, as now Parton will heave it toward the hoop, and it's no good. So at the end of the first quarter, the score is William Peace 14, Piedmont 15. Lane, from a statistical standpoint here, what are we looking at from a team perspective? Got to think that Piedmont with a 1-point lead, I mean, I've seen them do a lot of good things early on in this game, but ultimately, William Peace hasn't fallen very far behind.
And this is basically a dead even game. The shooting numbers are almost identical to a T. Both teams getting 4 free throws. They made 1 3-pointer apiece and 5 total shots made each, and that's why it's only a 1-point game. But one area that the Piedmont Lions do have an advantage in is on the defensive side. They do have 5 steals compared to the Pacers 2, and although it hasn't ultimately influenced the score a whole lot, that could be something to pay attention to as the game progresses. Can they keep up that defensive pressure?
So with 10 minutes left here in this first half, over on that William Peace side, it seems as if when they do put in, Crystal Jerome, standing at 5 foot even, that's not easy, obviously, to look over some of these taller guards, but it seems as if she's got a good eye for finding those little holes in the defense that she can thread those passes through. She can't go over people, but she can definitely go around them, or maybe even under them. Who knows?
Yeah, and she's put a lot of effort on the defensive end, really trying to slow Price down. She's a great player, and she's going to get her points, but if you can use her to minimize her effectiveness, that's going to be huge for them.
Here now is Sanders, and she'll give over to Jerome. Now Jerome back out. Not a bad pass there over to Holloway. Holloway's 2 is no good. They'll go out of bounds and in favor of the Piedmont Lions.
And had a good look right there. The pass may have been a little behind the receiver, but, a wide open jumper. Probably going to live with that one again. But, if you're Piedmont, you're kind of okay with that shot. And, a longer 2. And obviously it worked out for him.
If it's open, you got to take those chances. Not a bad block there inside from Kiara Williams. And now here's Parton. Parton looking to thread the needle. She'll give now over to Crystal Jerome instead. Beautiful pass from Jerome to Williams. Williams using the low block. No good. Rebounded by Price. Price now off and running. Heaving it up to Washington. Washington puts it on the deck. Drives into the lane. Goes off the glass. It's no good. The offensive board to Amari Price. It's poked away by Parton. And it's going to go in favor of Piedmont. So it will stay down on the opposite end of the court. Not easy for our broadcasters over on the other end, obviously. But
trying to lean around the table, see what we can get. And, on that last possession, you've seen it right there like I've been talking about all game. Securing the defensive rebound. You got to stop them from getting second chance opportunities.
Here now handing off with 5 seconds to shoot is Price. Over now to her teammate in Cantrell. Not a lot of time for Price to put up the three. It's no good and rebounded by Williams. So Williams making an immediate impact on the boards as now Sanders will go up for the lead, and she's got it for the Peace Pacers.
And Sanders has come in and really provided a big impact, and maybe not a whole lot of points early, but she gets that one to go and leading plays earlier, and Sanders stepping up when it matters.
Williams heaving it up there for Sanders. That was just, I understand what they're trying to do there, Lane, but sometimes you just got to slow that one down.
Yep, you see an opportunity, you're like, oh, she's open, easy, fast break, but you don't look enough for the defenders, and not exactly sure what that shot was, a double clutch jumper. and naturally, Sanders wasn't ready for it. She wasn't even looking for it at that point, and I can't blame her. She's just trying to hustle down the floor. Here now is Parton. Parton going up strong and in. William Peace takes a 3-point lead. Getting results by going inside, easy layups, and they have to continue that if they want to continue to build on this lead.
Here now is Newkirk. Into the lane goes Newkirk, a wild shot, rebounded by Williams. That's going to be a foul call on Washington, coming at her with the left hook. Not bad if you're watching that fight last weekend between Wilder and Fury. Didn't quite go the way I was expecting it to or wanting it to from an American standpoint, but good boxing's good boxing.
But it was a great fight, great for the sport as well.
Indeed it was, 18-15. This is also pretty good for USA South sports, seeing two competitive games here in this Final Four for women's basketball. You'd love to see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure whoever blows out another team, if that happens ever, you're happy your team blew them out. Nothing's better than close basketball in late February, March, man.
From a commentator standpoint and the fans especially, I'm sure they like to see these competitive games because it brings the best out of both teams.
And on top of that, Lane, as we not to get on a tangent here, as Washington will take it across the timeline, she's only got maybe one girl to beat. She's going to lose her dribble, put it off the glass and in to cut Piedmont's deficit just to 1.
And once again, we see a team executing on the fast break, and that's going to be huge. Who can win the fast break battle, and who really can stop turning the ball over, limit those turnovers as much as possible.
But you're going to be competing as a conference, right? You want your conference to be as tough as possible because that's when you get the best basketball players, right? That's when you get the best talent to come to you because they want to play against the best talent, see how they match up against them. How many times, are you going to get a chance to, go to a Division III school, be able to, which is already hard enough to play basketball at that level as is, right? Any college ball. But beyond that, on top of managing everything else that goes into it, also, if you're playing in a conference maybe that's not so competitive, it's not as fun. It's not as rewarding to you. And these girls out here today, they are really showing that they are truly competitive in nature, and they're great in representing the USA South and their individual schools.
Absolutely, and like you talked about, you want to play these tough teams all season. That way, once you get to the postseason, you're ready for those tougher opponents, and it shows, especially in the way that they played so far. Both teams highly competitive through this first, as we have a one-possession game right now.
Here now is Mackenzie driving on Daniels. She'll now kick over. Here now is number 23 in Szymanski. Couple good Irish names right there, Mackenzie and Szymanski. Maybe not so Irish, but you get what I mean. Almost St. Patrick's Day coming up. Man, March is almost here. This year has just been flying by, it feels.
It has been. 2020, where have you been?
6:47 left to play here in the second quarter. 19-17. William Peace leads. Here's Washington now in the lane. Defended by Ray. Washington putting it off the glass. No good, and rebounded by Ray.
And a great job to work that inside. Got a good look at it, just couldn't convert that one from Washington.
Always a fan of any basketball players not going with the contacts and rocking the specs. So we see Michaela Ray do that right there. And apparently her eyesight's fine because she's pulling down those boards quite effectively today.
She can see the whole court, and especially with those glasses. A lot of effort on the rebounding end. And checking in for Piedmont, we have number 15, Ackerman checking in, and as well as number 4, Wiley comes back.
Here's now is Amari Price. Played every minute so far in this game. Got to imagine that's going to be the case all the way through. Between her and Washington, I don't see them getting a lot of a breather. Bouncing now in for Ackerman. It's going to be no good and rebounded by Ray. Ray trying to heave that ball away. They're going to call a foul on the floor. We'll see who that's on.
Jump ball. Nope.
That's going to be indeed on Ackerman, coming in and getting a foul called on her in the first 10 seconds of being in. But that's a tough play right there, just trying to be aggressive, grab onto that orange. But I guess she grabbed a little wrist too, apparently. Here's Lauren Cross. Lauren Cross guarded by Amari Price as she crosses half court and gives up now to Khadijah Daniels. Now here's Jamisha Sanders giving it to Ray. Ray putting it on the floor, going up, can't hit. Rebounded by Washington, and she's got a head of steam as she runs down the court. Nice move to the left. She puts it up the glass and in. Great knock in there for Piedmont.
Good move by Washington. That little hesitation, just enough to freeze her defender and get that quick first step, enough to get to the hoop. She's looking for some help out there.
There's Ray passing now over to Cross. Now inside, goes through the hands of Ray and out of bounds. That's what Piedmont needs right there. Been a little anemic here as of late, Lane, in this, in this really the second quarter. I feel like they've kind of put the brakes on a little bit as far as their offensive efficiency goes. They got to get on the right path here, and defense is a great way to get you back into that offensive group.
Yep, just like we've seen all day, defense leads to offense. If you're playing well on the defensive end, you're more than likely going to have more energy for the offense. And anytime you can get out in transition, get layups, it's going to be great for you.
Here's Ackerman. Ackerman looking for Price. She's got her on the backdoor cut. Now looking over for Washington. Washington puts it on the floor. No good, and rebounded by Kiera Williams.
And Price has done a great job today of getting her teammates involved. They haven't converted to the shots, but she continues to trust them, and that's going to feed into their confidence eventually.
Jamisha Sanders couldn't hit on that open look, so she's going to have to hustle back down the floor. Not a bad look inside. That really should have been a bucket, you got to think. However, I guess a good last-second defensive effort by Sierra Baker. Maybe it threw her off as she kind of reached her foot out trying to deflect that pass, but ultimately you got to finish that ball. This is the tournament, man. You got to get to the national tournament here, guys.
You got to step up when it counts. That was almost a highlight play right there, throwing it between the legs. Call that a nutmeg, I believe.
Indeed, that a little hockey talk there. I appreciate that. 4:47 left to play here in the quarter. 19 all here. And the referees came over to us. We are not the official scorers. It's probably a good thing.
There's a reason we're not on that end.
Big reason why we're not wearing the striped shirt.
So we just talk. We don't do numbers.
A great matchup still. Good basketball all day long here in this USA South Final Four. And seeing Piedmont here over the years, how they've grown. I was telling you earlier about a matchup that I called with them in the national tournament 2 years ago, and really they showed that they can play at that high level. Didn't work out in their favor. I believe they played at maybe Oglethorpe University in that one, and didn't quite work out for them. But however, ultimately they were still able to show that they can play at that big stage, right? And they're kind of the top dog, right? They're the lion out there on the safari. And with that in mind, the other animals are going to come up and they're going to start messing with them a little bit, trying to knock the king off. Piedmont. Actually, I didn't even realize that was a pun there.
I caught what you were going for.
But still, with that in mind, everyone is trying to knock Piedmont out in this. Every time you play them, it's like your Super Bowl, your championship game. It has to be in your mind that this is the team that you want to knock off, because a lot of people, I'm sure, wrote off a lot of teams this year, like William Peace maybe even at the beginning of this season, a perennial bottom feeder, right? Not anymore. Obviously, they're coming out. They're playing aggressive here in this game, and it's awesome to see. Maryville, even on that side, probably didn't think that they were going to get to that point, but here they are representing the USA South, and they did a great job of that.
Yep, and I think as they turn that ball over, Price leading the break. But I think you had a good talk right there, talking about being ready for this moment. Have they been here before? No, but they've shown up today, and, it's only a tied game right now, 19-19, and they are playing right here with Piedmont, the top dogs for the past 4 years. They have been, dominating the conference, making it in, leading their division, and with William Peace to be able to stay with this team, that says a lot about their character, and they have a bright future ahead of them.
Indeed, 4:14 remaining here, still a tie ball game. Got Wiley on the line to shoot 2 free throws, looking to give Piedmont the lead. She'll miss that first of the 2. That's enough to drive a coach crazy, of course, anytime you're missing free throws.
And like we saw in the last game, free throws matter. They are very important, not only getting to the line, but really you got to convert once you get there. She misses that second one, 0 for 2.
Still, with that in mind, Kiera Williams, we saw a wonderful rebounding output off of the bench earlier, and for Berea's perspective, right? Love coming off the bench with 18. Kiera Williams right now, six rebounds off the bench. That's a good mark for her, as she's got another one underneath and a bucket. So Kiera Williams really showing out here in the semifinals of the conference tournament. And she now will give her team a 2-point lead.
Yep, and as soon as she stepped on the court today, we talked about, her providing a lot of size, a lot of rebounding, and she's done exactly that. Great rebounding inside, good defensive presence as well.
Washington fighting up and in. A great take there by Washington. She's got a chance to give her team the lead. That's a gut check right there. Getting fouled, going through traffic, and still knocking it in. See if she can give the team a 1-point lead.
And it's great for Piedmont to see your big getting involved in the offense. Washington has been, aside with Price, they too have led this offense to a great position. And anytime you can get your big involved early, it's going to be great for the rest of the game. It's going to open up the floor because they got to, double down on the post. If she goes one-on-one, she's probably going to score as she knocked down that free throw right there.
A long pass up now to Baker. Sierra Baker trapped in the corner, gives it inside to Williams. Now here's Baker again, the three for the lead. That one no good, rebounded by Price. Price able to corral her rebound, now gives it up to her teammate in Cantrell, and Cantrell scores in transition to give Piedmont now a 3-point lead.
Yeah, and Price loves to push the pace. You see right there, getting the steal immediately going on the other end, no looking back, and great skip ahead to her teammate.
Lauren Cross inside to Kiera Williams. Williams fighting through and is good.
And I love to see this, a little back and forth, give me one, I'm going to give you one, and this makes for a competitive atmosphere, and both teams really playing hard out here.
Kiera Williams, 4 points, 7 boards. Price for 3, no good. Actually, it might be good. I spoke too soon.
And she gets that shooter's touch, as we like to call it.
Very soft roll there. Very nice shot there from Price. That ball hung way above the cylinder for a while before coming through. Good shot there. Now maybe Cantrell with an opportunity to steal. 2:25 remaining here. 4-point lead for Piedmont.
These past couple of possessions for the Lions on the defensive end have been swarming, getting a lot of hands on passes as she misses that 3, and Piedmont's going the other way.
Harton, not a bad look there. If you're open from 22 in the corner, you feel comfortable taking that shot, got to pull up. Here now is Amari Price. Price will now pass over to her teammate in Carla Cantrell. Cantrell, a nice last-second dump-off inside. That one's no good, and it's rebounded by Williams.
And they continue to work it inside, getting great looks at the basket. You just got to convert them.
Baker going way over the defender. Couldn't finish. That's a hard finish. I don't know how she even came down with that basketball, let alone able to put up a pretty decent shot, all things considered.
Yep, and good defense from Ackerman to stay straight up and to not foul her right there. That's exactly what you teach your bigs. Just wall up, make the shot tough.
1:35 remaining here in the quarter. The mid-range 2, no good. A long shot there from Price.
And Price visibly frustrated walking back on defense. And normally you don't really like to see that type of body language if you're the coach. You want to make sure, even if you miss a shot, you got to have a short memory. Move on to the next one.
Jamie Purdy not happy with that effort right there out of Price on defense, because considering it was only 22 seconds, right? 8 seconds, only 2 to get it across the timeline. I mean, if you put a little pressure on her, who knows? That could be a steal and a bucket. And in a close ball game in the semifinals, you can't let that stuff go.
Yeah, every possession is going to count. Whether you think that you're out of it or not, you got to continue to put that effort forward. And that's going to show to your teammates as well. They notice that kind of stuff.
Here now, Williams inside. An incredible shot. Look at the dipsy-do as she spins around and puts the bucket in. 25-27 in favor still of Piedmont. But, man, if she's making that stuff, working in the spin cycle like that, forget about it. This one is going to go in favor of WPU if she can continue to make stuff like that.
Yeah, that's just a circus shot, as we call it in the business. And, sometimes you just throw your hands up in frustration as a defender. If she's hitting
defense,
that, you can't do much.
Here's Amari Price now, the mid-range 2 from Newkirk, no good, and rebounded by Ray. 10 seconds separate shot clock and game clock. Here now is Lauren Cross. Cross will cross the timeline, no pun intended yet again. Here now is Price applying the defense. 20 to shoot. Cross running around the defenders off the glass and in. It's easy when Lauren Cross is that kind of a lane, and it's a tie ball game.
Yeah, and they score right there, but some frustrations from their bench. They told them that they wanted to hold it and wait for the last shot right there, but they get that bucket, and you got to take the 2 points when it's available. Especially
this early in the game, get your points. Go back and play some tough defense.
Absolutely.
Here now, 7 seconds to shoot. Price has it. Guard at the top of the key has it poked away. Price going to have to just heave up a miracle. The long shot is good if it goes, and it misses. So at the end of the first half, our score is William Peace University 27, Piedmont 27. Great matchup yet again here in this semifinal conference round. Berea and Maryville had a great matchup. William Peace and Piedmont following suit. Gotta love it, Lane. What is sticking out to you the most between these two teams here through 20 minutes?
I think, first of all, you've seen a great effort from Piedmont in just rebounding, especially offensive rebounding. They've given themselves second chance opportunities, third chance opportunities. You may not make the first shot of the possession, but if you give yourself a couple more shots, you can make those easy layups right after a putback, and I expect them to continue that effort on the rebounding.
From beyond the arc, neither team's been exceptionally hot. Piedmont shooting 28%. That's formidable, 2 for 7 from out there. But the Pacers right now 1 of 6. That's not really working for them in this game. However, I got to say, Kiera Williams has been a force down low, both on the rebounding side and getting a couple good buckets down the line. We'll have official first half scoring for you here in just a minute. But still, with that in mind, do you think that Peace drives it more inside, or they try to kick back out here in the second half?
Well, the three-pointer hasn't been working for him today so far, so I say you continue to get it inside, and eventually once you start knocking down enough inside shots, that'll force the defense to collapse, which will create more open threes. And one statistic that's really jumping out to me for the Pacers is they have 12 bench points compared to Piedmont's 3. And that depth is really going to help, especially later in the game whenever your starters get a little more tired, a little more winded. Can you have players that come in and step up when the time's needed?
Yeah, there were really only 6 players that did much, at least, out of this. It's kind of funny, actually. I'm watching as Graham Smith, the coach of William Peace, walking into his locker room, and the fans for William Peace were giving him a pump-up speech, saying, "You got this, coach, you got this." I love seeing that. I love seeing it, especially this level, right, because you can see it more on a personal side. The people and the USA South, that all of these teams that we've seen here today have been supportive. They've been energetic. They've been angry for their team, even if they need to be.
A lot of passion.
I love seeing that. That's what USA South basketball is all about, everybody. And Lane and I are going to be back here in about 10 minutes to talk about more of that and bring you the third quarter basketball for you on this presentation from Berea College Athletics and the Berea College Sports Network. I'll get it down. Be back in 10. Back at it here on the Berea College Sports Network here for this final half of the day for Lane Hinton and myself, Nate Metz. We are just about square here for this 10-minute third quarter in a tie ball game, 27-27. Lane, we have our official statistics on the individual side after 20. What's sticking out to you here between the William Peace Pacers and the Piedmont University, the Piedmont Lions?
Yeah, one thing for Piedmont that I noticed early, I had mentioned it before the broadcast has started, the two-way impact of Amari Price. She has 4 steals currently, 6 points, 7 rebounds, kind of a do-it-all player and really leading her team, and that's been great for them. And in terms of the Pacers, they got a couple players, not really anyone that's just jumping out, nobody that has just taken over this game, so still looking for that leader to emerge.
Here now is Price. Piedmont looking to run away with it here in the second half. All starts right here in the third quarter. Price looking inside. She's going to find Walker. Going up, no good, and it's rebounded by Parton. Parton giving it off now to Cross. Cross holding up the fist. Will get it over to Parton. Then over to Baker. 15 to shoot. Here now is Lauren Cross. Now Sanders, back to Ray for 2. That one's good, rattles around and goes through the cylinder. William Peace takes a 2-point lead.
And good execution right there. Anytime you can have a jumper from your big, that's going to help open up your offense. If your big is hitting jumpers, that's just going to give more driving lanes to your guards, and that's going to open up everything else.
That 3 missed, but a nice rebound there, going up over the defender. A nice take by Brittany Walker, and that's going to be a foul called on William Peace.
And again, offensive rebound in rears its ugly head for the Pacers. You have got to close out these possessions. You know, too many times tonight, Walker or Washington has been able to go in there and snag a second chance, third chance rebound, and Walker's back on the line because of it.
And now, Lane, you're a pretty tall guy, so I'll speak from a small person standpoint. A lot easier said than done when you got someone like Brittany Walker out there towering over people. But you're right, you got to box out on bigger defenders.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to do your work early as the defensive end. You know, you got to find a body whenever that shot goes up. I understand you're looking for the ball, but you got to hit somebody. You got to box them out. You know, you got to make them feel your presence down there.
Second missed free throw here for Piedmont. Abysmal free throw shooting here in this early part of this matchup. Here's Ray now passing over to Parton. That ball nearly stolen by Washington, who jumped the passing route. Now kicking over, stolen away there by Amari Price.
And that gives her 5 steals today and continues her active effort on the defensive end.
You know, that's almost triple-double territory, right? Being on pace for exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Here now is Wiley looking inside. Over to Walker. Good defense there by, I believe that's Jamisha Sanders getting in there and able to poke that ball away. Now Lauren Cross in the lane is no good, but she's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Looked like that basket was almost at the bottom of the net right there.
Before someone put like maybe a magnet on the ball and sucked it right back to the cylinder. So
just
they
like
will
the
lead by
Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly. Good reference there. Are you excited for Space Jam 2 coming out with LeBron?
Yeah, with LeBron, that should be interesting. I'm a little upset that Giannis declined his role in there. One of my favorite players is currently, but I think it'll be a good movie anyways as she misses that first free throw. No good from number 15, Cross.
Here now is Lauren Cross's second free throw. No good on that one. And the ball is rebounded by Amari Price, or the bit ball, if you will, from a Porky Pig standpoint. Talking about Space Jam. That wasn't bad. That was not bad. I'm embarrassed, actually, that sounded all right.
So why is that impression so good? Oh, no.
Here now is Kelly Ackerman checking in for Brittany Walker.
And Ackerman also been really good off the bench for the Lions.
Especially defensively.
That's exactly what I was going to say. A great job of avoiding foul trouble, doing her job on the rebounding and just making life difficult for the Pacers.
Here now is Parton. Parton swinging over to Ray. Ray working inside, going up and in. An impressive finish there by Specs herself as she goes through the traffic, absorbs the contact, and still has the wherewithal to put it through. 31-27 in favor of William Peace.
Yep, great concentration to get that and one attempt to go as no good on the free throw, but they get an offensive rebound.
Big block there by Washington, and now Piedmont's going to have it. There's Cantrell passing up to Price. You're right, that was a good chance there for the Pacers. Probably could have slowed it down, but they wanted to strike right away. As Price will dump it off inside for Washington. Great find there for the PG.
And Price does it again, finding her teammates, creating a great look, drawing the defense in with that aggressive drive. Everyone thought she was going to shoot that layup, but good recognition, just dumping it down for the big, easy shot.
Here now Sanders facing up her defender in Ackerman, going up strong, no good. It's going to be blocked. No, they're going to say it was not blocked. They're going to say it is Piedmont ball, and so William Peace will head back down the court with a 2-point lead, and Amari Price looking to tie this ball game up, lock, stock, and barrel.
Yep, and Price continues to lead her offense. They give the ball up to Ackerman now, but I think for Piedmont, you got to start getting a couple more stops right here. William Peace has gone on a little bit of a run right here. You got to lock him down.
7 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. 9 seconds to shoot for Price. Finding Cantrell in the lane, no good, and rebounded by Sanders, and that's going to be a foul called on Piedmont. That foul called on number 4 and Emily Wiley.
And you talked about a near triple-double for Price, and if her teammates would knock down the shot, she would have at least 7 or 8 assists right now. Doing a great job of just continuously leading her teammates and getting them in good opportunities to score.
Here's Lauren Cross. Cross giving it off to Parton. 20 seconds to shoot here for the Pacers. Looking inside now for Sanders. Sanders off the glass and in. Ooh, a little flex there, why don't ya? Out of Sanders, and rightfully so, going through the defender and putting it in, and one for that matter. So she's going to get a chance to complete the three-point play the old-fashioned way. William Peace leads by 4 to the Lions, 33-29.
Yep, and Sanders with a great and one right there. And I think, we talked about that lack of a star emerging in the first half. I think she has the potential to be that star for the Pacers in this half. Did really good in the first half and can continue that. Let's see if they keep running the offense through her.
Nearly a missed opportunity for Piedmont as they almost threw it away, but Amari Price has it right now. Guarded by Baker. 19 to shoot. Price to the baseline. Now back out from 22. That one no good from Cantrell, and it's rebounded by Baker.
Yep, and she continues to make good plays. You just got to hit those open shots. I'm sure if you're Piedmont, you'd like that shot again. Good shooter, good opportunity, corner three, pretty efficient.
Here's Lauren Cross. Doing a lot of the ball handling duties here, kicking it back to Ray. Ray looks off the triple, decides to go in the lane, gets her own offensive board, no good. Sanders gets it, and she's going to go to the line for 2 free throws.
So the Pacers coming back and getting a couple offensive rebounds of their own. They've given up a couple, but if you can, start to even that out here, sending them back to the line, that's going to really help them, put them in good shape as they take a 5-point lead with a chance to extend it.
We'll see if Sanders can knock these down under 6 minutes to play in the third. Her first free throw is no good. And we've got a timeout called from Jamie Purdy over on the Piedmont College bench. And so Landon and I are going to get a chance to highlight everybody about this game tomorrow. So the winner of this matchup will take on Berea College, the hosting team, number 1 in the West Division. If Piedmont wins, it's going to be another matchup between these two, which is always fun for those championships. But right now, William Peace up by 5 with 16 left to play still. You got to be feeling pretty good if you're William Peace. They're the number 1 seed in the East, and now they're showing why here tonight on the hardwood.
Yeah, I love how earlier in the broadcast, in the first 3 minutes, we had called them out. You said maybe they weren't ready to play at this big stage. But ever since that comment, they have just been firing back, and they've taken control of this lead. And I think that, to show up the way they have, to never have really been here before, the Pacers are playing phenomenal. And I'd like to see them, get a chance to continue this. And I'm just glad it's been a competitive game so far.
Indeed, competitive is the definite. When you go and you look up the USA South in the dictionary, competitive is actually the official definition of the USA South. 34-29, 5:57 remaining. Here as Piedmont will exit this timeout. We've still got one more free throw here from Jamisha Sanders. She's got to knock this one down. Free throws for each team right now, not great, I would argue, especially for Piedmont. But William Peace ain't much better.
Yeah, and the fact that neither team is shooting well from the free throw line really just goes to show you whoever can start to knock down a couple, get that percentage to go a little higher. That's really going to give them a great opportunity as Sanders misses that second one as well.
Under 50% are both teams here so far.
And that's just frustrating as a coach. Something that's so easy, such a natural part of the game, and you can't capitalize.
Now Ackerman, a nice pass inside for Washington. Good active hands there by Jamisha Sanders, and Washington can't finish. Knocked out of bounds by Ray. It's going to stay here with the Lions. And you're talking about those missed free throws, man. That's meat left on the bone. Got to make sure that you clean up and take care of them because they're free for a reason. It's the charity stripe for a reason. All the different names for that line. Something's got to give. Here now is Cantrell. She missed that three earlier. She'll look it off and go off the glass. It's no good and rebounded by Parton. Now here's Baker. Parton now with it and gives it over to Lauren Cross. The mid-range two, no good. It's an odd shot, left-handed over the head, didn't quite hit, but it was awfully close. 34-29, still in favor of the Pacers.
Yeah, and if you're Piedmont, you want them taking that shot. That was just a long two, a little ill-advised, just either take another step back or continue to move the ball. That long two is probably the most inefficient shot in basketball.
Mackenzie will check in now for Piedmont. Exiting will be Carla Cantrell. Emily Wiley will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. We'll see if maybe the Piedmont luck will change here from the stripe. It certainly will seem to, at least on that first of 2. As now they've got their 30th point here of the game. Offense not exactly coming at a discount today. 34-30 is our score. Second free throw, no good, and rebounded by Ray.
And both teams continue to struggle from the line. Of course, she gets that first one. You like to see that. But can they hit 2 in a row? And that's going to be a real big factor once we get closer to crunch time.
Here's Baker looking for Cross. She's got her. Under 5 now to play in the third quarter. Cross driving left. Little room here. She'll go and pass now inside to Sanders. No good on that pass there, but luckily Parton was able to get it. Now Sanders gets the offensive board. Can't quite hit, and Wiley's going to be knocked over, and I believe that's going to be Mackenzie able to pick it up. Here now Ackerman in transition. Goes through Ray. No good. Blocking foul on Ray, and Ray is sick there with that call. However, that's a tough play, but it seemed as if she was in that restricted zone down under the hoop.
Yep, and it's always a very tough call for the officials. Is it a block? Is it a charge? And that's going to oftentimes swing momentum as we have a couple of substitutions coming in now. For the Pacers, we have number 12, Daniels coming in, and number 24, Ray, is in as well.
Well, Ray wasn't. She was going to come out. She thought she was going to come out for Williams. As she will head to the bench, but then come right back out, so she will stay in. But you're right, it's kind of hard to tell from a broadcaster's perspective or where people are watching from home, probably because where Ray was hit and where she fell might be 2 different things. That's a tough play right there, but that's a call that the refs have to make, right? You have to choose one way or another.
And that's exactly why they're paid, and that's why they're wearing the stripes, not us.
Exactly. 34-31 after that made free throw from Ackerman. Second one on the way is no good and rebounded by Ray.
And struggles once again. I'm going to be very surprised when one team hits 2 free throws.
Here now is Daniels. Daniels called for the travel, and that's a good call right there as she indeed take a little extra step as she tried to adjust and maybe switch lanes there moving forward toward their hoop.
So a great opportunity for the Lions to capitalize right here. Can trim it down to a 1 point or potentially tie the game up with a good 3-pointer.
Here's Cantrell. Piedmont right now 2 of 9 from beyond the arc. Cantrell back to Price. Price looking to drive right on Khadijah Daniels. Now working left, right where they want him.
Daniels doing a great job on the defensive end to work through those screens as they come away with the steal.
Let's see what Parton can do with it. The bounce pass inside, a fast-paced cross, jumping right through the lane, catching with both hands and putting it up and in. Good take there, gives them a 5-point lead.
Yep, and I think that starts with Daniels' defense. Forcing the ball handler to be uncomfortable, throwing a bad pass away, and they get that steal. Good defense turns into good offense.
Here's Price now. Price dribbling left. Now here's Cantrell. Cantrell working around the right side. Giving now back over to Newkirk out of East Lansing, Michigan. Blocked there by Williams. Now here's Parton racing through a number of Piedmont Lions. like a gazelle jumping through the jump, really just jumping away. She's able to scoot through, and she's got her team the basketball here with a 5-point lead, 3 minutes left in this quarter. Still a lot of basketball to play as Daniels can't hit. Rebounded by Williams, knocked out of bounds, I believe, by Williams. Good job by Cantrell to go and hit that ball, I guess, out of the hands of the center for the Pacers. Yeah,
Williams didn't look like she was really holding that ball too securely. Great recognition by the defense. And as a big, that's your number one priority. One, go after the rebound, and then secure it. You can't give it away because that's just so deflating on the offense.
Good crossover from Cantrell, going up strong. Contact there, no good. And they're going to call foul. I believe it's going to be on Williams, sending Washington to the line to shoot 2.
And aggressiveness from the Lions, getting it inside, getting to the free throw line. The real question now is, can you knock them down?
36-31. Washington's first free throw attempt is no good. Tale as old as time, or at least as it's been that way for the last, I'd say, 28 and a half minutes. Easy for us to say, right? My free throw shooting pretty abysmal, but that's why I'm talking about basketball and not playing it. Here now is Cross after the second free throw is missed. It'll be interesting to see what that puts them at now. 5 of 15? Now here's Parton. Over to Williams. Williams looking inside. Not a good pass, but that's going to be, they got bailed out right there, as that's going to be a foul called on Cantrell.
And honestly, if you're the Lions, you kind of are, well, now they're in the bonus, not the best foul, but having her one-on-one in the block, obvious size misadvantage right there. Ray could have definitely taken her into the post, worked her one-on-one, so not the worst foul.
So Ray will head to the free throw line with a 5-point lead here, 2:34 to play in the semifinal matchup, and she knocks down the first free throw. Second free throw looking to come up here for Michaela Ray, and her second free throw is good. So indeed, it is possible to make 2 free throws in a row, Lane.
I was just curious. Now we know.
Myth has been busted. Here now is Amari Price. Price working now over to Ackerman. Ackerman, the quick triple. That one no good. Rebounded there by Michaela Ray. And Michaela Ray is going to race down the court, giving it up now to Cross. Cross, the extra pass down low. Pulled in by Williams. No one's got it. It's going to be hauled in by Ackerman, and she's able to squeeze it out there to Amari Price. Amari Price now feeding up to Mackenzie for 2, and the transition 2 is good.
And a little while there, nobody really having a secure possession, but a great hustle from the Lions as Price ultimately ends up with the ball. Great look ahead to get it to her teammate in the open court, and they convert on the easy deuce.
Looking to check in here for Piedmont at the break will be Sarah Beth Hansard.
Good. And they're going to call the foul on Price right there, reaching.
That's her second foul. And now checking in will be Jamisha Sanders for William Peace. Ackerman will check out, and Sarah Beth Hansard will come in. Free throw here from Daniels on the way. That one's good.
And Daniels knocks down that one, and starting to get a little momentum here from the free throw line, getting some good stops and turning it into transition opportunities as she knocks down.
Oh, man, touched by every part of that rim there. And it's going to, I believe, stay here with William Peace. So they, again, get a lucky break going their way, but they'll take that any day of the week and twice on Saturday.
And once again, it just comes back down to rebounding. Who is going to ultimately take that edge on the glass? That's going to really help. So far, it's been pretty even. William Peace does have a 5 rebound advantage right now. Make it 6 after that one.
Good job there by Khadijah Daniels. And now Price heaving it down court. Mackenzie able to catch it. That's going to be a foul coming behind. And they're going to call an intentional foul there. That's huge, Lane. That is huge. You have a look of surprise on your face. Weren't quite sure that was a situation.
I wasn't sure that was an intentional foul. A foul, sure, call that. But the intentional foul, that definitely changes the game. Because not only does it give them free throws, now they're going to get the ball back after this.
Well, we will see. The officials will discuss. William Peace fans about to riot over that. I'm kidding. They're obviously displeased over there. 39-33. 86 seconds left here, and they are going to determine whether or not it will be. They will say it is indeed an intentional foul. So that will give Now 2 free throws to Piedmont, and then the ball back, as you were mentioning, Lane.
Yeah, that's a game-changing call potentially. You know, the free throws were warranted. I give you that one. I'm not entirely sure about the intentional foul, but they called it, and this is where we're at as Price misses that.
You know what?
first one.
I guess as Piedmont has just not been able to do literally anything from the charity stripe today, maybe it's not the end of the world. Second free throw is good, so Price will at least make them pay for one of those 2 points that
The question is now, can they get the stop on the defensive end? You know, otherwise, if you get this stop, wasn't that bad of a call, whatever, you live with it. But can they score?
This William Peace team, man, if there's one word I can think of them, it's gritty. They don't care who's coming in to play them, right, or where they got to go. They're going to put the same effort out there every time. And, I mean, the way that they play, running up and down the court like we've seen, that's not going to go out of, that's not going to go into a slump.
Absolutely, and it starts with their defense right there. You know, good defense right there, forcing the travel right there. Going to be a turnover.
So Washington will give that one up. That'll be the 10th turnover here for the Piedmont Lions. And now here's Baker. Baker crossing the timeline. She'll be guarded by Hansard. Now the bounce pass inside. A nice pass in for Sanders. And good work there by Washington to get both of her hands on there and force that jump ball under a minute to play.
Yeah, and that's the kind of effort that you need in order to fight back into this one. You know, you're only down 5. That is just 2 possessions. You got to go after every 50-50 ball. Any ball that you have a chance to get your hand on, you got to do everything you can to get involved.
Sydney Austin will check in for the Pacers. Inbound pass into Williams. 17 to shoot. Here now is Baker. Looks off the mid-range 2. Instead, she's going to get whistled for the travel. You know, she probably should have just pulled up right there, Lane. She ended up hesitating, taking the extra step, and gives the ball up. That's number 15, at least on the turnover mark for William Peace.
Yeah, that catch-and-shoot turnaround, that's a good shot right there. Maybe a little longer than you'd like, but you'd rather have that than a turnover. The important thing is getting the shot attempt up.
Here now, Hansard. Hansard losing it in the lane. She's able to put it up and in. That's good job by Hansard, able to at least stay with that basketball as someone knocked it out of her hands.
Great concentration to finish that one.
7 seconds separate shot clock and game clock. 30 now left to play, and surprisingly, there's no call there as Bishenzi's able to steal it away. Here now is Hansard down low. No good. Rebounded by Washington. She's able to put it in. It's a 1-point ball game. 39-38 is our score. 13 seconds left to play.
And that's why those transition opportunities are so important. You know, it gives you a chance to get back before the defense has a chance to set up.
5 seconds left. The long triple's no good. Gets another chance. Here is Baker at the buzzer, and that one is no good. Surprising that she took that shot with 5 seconds left. But regardless, at the end of the third quarter, the score is William Peace 39, Piedmont College 38. Well, folks, we're excited for a fun last 10 minutes of regulation, at least, in this conference tournament semifinal matchup between the number 2 team out of the West Division in Piedmont and the number 1 team out of William Peace and the Pacers. Lane, turnovers have been a big deal. Free throws have been a big deal. Rebounding's been a big deal, too. What are you seeing here from the stat line here through 30 minutes?
So a couple things. Both teams have less than 2 3-pointers made tonight. Who can start to hit a shot from deep? Because that could bust it wide open. You know, 3 is obviously worth more than 2. So I'll be paying close attention to that. And then can you continue this rebounding advantage if you're William Peace? You know, you currently have a +9 margin in total rebounds. Only up 1 doesn't necessarily translate. However, if you continue to rebound well, you're going to give yourself a chance even into the late game.
Got to think, though, Lane, with looking at the season totals, at least for each team, Piedmont, they average making about 28% of their threes, which they're a little under that right now at 2 for 10. But you got to look over on the William Peace side. What are they shooting right now? 14%. They're averaging 32% on the year. So if there's one team that I think that might have an advantage of water again finding its level, it'd be the Peace Pacers from the outside. Got to look for that here for the final 10 minutes.
Pacers have shown a lot of promise, a lot of good things to look forward to, especially on that rebounding margin. But like you said, can they start to knock down a couple triples?
Here's Hansard. And now Price. Price with 15 to shoot, working on Ray. A nice pass inside for Walker. Walker's got it off the glass, no good. And it's rebounded by the point guard in Baker. Good job there by Baker. A smaller guard going up there and getting it. Here now is Baker. The late pass there inside for Sanders. It's no good and rebounded by Amari Price.
Had a good look right there, easy right hand hook. You just got to take your time, concentrate, knock that down.
Amari Price will run out of bounds, do a little penguin slide, and thankfully she'll be okay as she hits that little base underneath the Berea College logo under the hoop. That's a tough play right there. It seemed like she was losing control of the basketball, and was she pushed? Maybe. That very well could be the case. It's been a physical ball game, man. I don't know one way or another.
Honestly, and then for the officials, it's tough to call anything at this point because you've let so much go by, and you want that consistency on both sides.
Here now is Jamisha Sanders giving over to Baker. Sierra Baker working on Wiley and gives it now over to Daniels. Khadijah Daniels in the lane, going strong off the glass, but it's no good, and rebounded by Machenzie. Machenzie will have it and give it over to Price. Here's Wiley, the step back triple from 22, no good, rebounded by Walker. Now back to Machenzie, will this one hit? That one's good. Piedmont takes the lead, and the Lions are back on top, 39-41 in favor of that team from Georgia. That'd be Piedmont.
And they finally cracked the seal on triples. They get one to go, and guess what? Off of another offensive rebound.
Inside goes Sanders. She answers. We've got a tie ball game at 41. 8 minutes and 25 seconds left, and a quick pass now up to Hansard, and in transition, she's able to hit. 41-43, Piedmont leads.
You got to try to get back defensively. You cannot be giving up those super easy shots right there. And Pacers, they go down 2 after that possession.
Here now Washington looking to check in for Piedmont. Sanders going strong to the hole. She ties it up. Even though the defender was bigger lane, she showed some grit, got it done.
Yep, and Sanders was the player I mentioned earlier that has that potential to make that star leap and be that leader for her team that they so desperately need. They call the reaching foul right there.
It's going to be on Baker. That's her second foul.
And checking in for Piedmont is going to be number 40, Washington.
William Peace University right now ranked 25th in the nation. That's great to see the USA South getting some national recognition. About time, I say.
And the only team getting that national recognition, I might add, in the whole USA South Conference.
They've had a couple big wins this year, as we've mentioned. Looking at them beating Christopher Newport earlier this year, the number 25 team, as I mentioned earlier.
And she misses that jumper. Great rebound by Walker, and she's continued to provide a lot of interior presence.
Piedmont leads by 2. Hansard, who's made a nice adjustment here for this team, gives it to Price, who can't hit from 3. Now inside for Washington, she's looking for Walker. Can't quite find her big down low, and it's going to go back in favor of the William Peace Pacers.
But you do like to see that effort if you're the Lions, continuously crashing the boards offensively. But if you're the Pacers, that is the one thing that you have to cut out. You have got to start rebounding and boxing out.
Also, talking about the Pacers being the number 25 team in the nation. Well, buddy, you better play like it. If you're out there, forget that national recognition. You better get out there and show that you deserve to be the one that goes to that national tournament, not one of these other teams that you have to go on the road to take on. Here now is Cross passing over to Ray for the lead. The 3's on target. No, it's not. Rebounded by Price. Under 7 now to play. Price heaves it up the court for Machenzie. Machenzie going right into her defender in Baker. That's an offensive foul call to Machenzie. A little surprising there from this vantage point lane, but one way or another, the Peace Pacers will take it.
Yeah, they call that one close, but I just love the effort from Price on that play. You know, even though they don't score, she is always looking for her teammates, and I'm sure her teammates really appreciate that. Like, even if they haven't been scoring well, she continues to find them in good spots.
Here's Lauren Cross, 20 seconds to shoot here, 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here in regulation.
And the Pacers really struggling to get a bucket these past few possessions. Sanders takes it in, and no good on that one either.
That's not a bad look, though, Lane. Obviously, she's your girl when you're trying to get a couple points here. As now Hansard will give it down low, and that's going to be a foul called on Baker. But a good job there by Baker, at least to jump over and at least give him an opportunity instead of the easy bucket. No easy buckets.
You know, like the team always says, you know, nothing easy in here. We're going to make you work for every single shot. Even if it is an easy layup, it's not going to be easy. So now Machenzie will check out. Checking out also for William Peace will be Sanders and Baker. Free throw here from Washington will be good, and Piedmont has a 3-point lead. A lot of pressure on these free throws right here to give them the potential 2-possession lead, and she does.
So 43-47 in favor of the Lions. Here now inside is Ray, giving it down low to Williams. Can't get the bucket to go. A good fight between Williams and Walker. Nothing doing there. And knocking down the long two is Cross. Beautiful shot there, and we've got a 2-point ball game.
Great to hit the shot right there, but toe was on the line.
Before they hit the shoestring
just a couple centimeters back, and that's worth another point. But you like to see it go through if you're the Pacers.
Here now is Washington for three. That one is good. A nice shot there from Washington with the sweet touch, and they've got a 5-point lead.
And once again, we see that kind shooter's roll, the ball hanging in the air for a little bit, but they get that one to go, and that gives Piedmont the 5-point lead.
Now we'll see if the Pacers can answer. Over now to Parton. Into Daniels. Daniels driving in, has that ball poked away, and she's going to be able to pick it up. Knocked away again, and Price is going to have the steal.
And she continues her great defensive effort. I think that's steal number 7 or possibly 8 at this point.
Hansard misses from 3. She shoots from about 25% from beyond the arc. So not a bad look there, open in transition as Daniels looks to give her team a bucket, and she does. 3-point ball game, 47-50. Lane, I could be wrong. Is this some deja vu, or did Bree and Maryville also sit at 50-47 at one point in that last game?
I believe so. I think we've seen 2 very similar games today. Just a lot of effort, very gritty. That's the word. Neither team has shot well today, but they're both playing hard, especially on the defensive end.
Whoever wins this is going to earn it. Here now is Hansard missing that one. The long board goes to Price. Scratch that. It's going to be Daniels. Daniels giving over now to Parton. Parton with 2 lines to beat. Goes through one of them. No good. Rebounded by Hansard. And Hansard will go out of bounds. It's going to go off of Parton, who went around her defender, grabbed onto that basketball. Couldn't quite hold on. Maybe stripped it out. Maybe we'll give her the forced fumble right in the stat sheet, but not quite enough for the turnover.
And that's just great effort. You know, like we were talking about earlier, those 50-50 balls that you think you have a chance to get, you got to go after it. Even if it goes out of bounds, you know, that hustle shows. Your coach sees that. Your teammates see that. That body language is important.
Price will now give over to Sarah Beth Hansard. Nearly tripping there on the top of the key, but she'll now pass inside. Now the mid-range 2 from Washington's no good and rebounded by Parton. Parton racing down the floor, and she'll hand off to Cross. Now here is Holloway. Eva Holloway, the underhanded pass goes for nothing, and it's taken away by Piedmont. Piedmont now with a look. Here's Washington. All the way she goes. Coast to coast goes Washington like a red eye from LA to New York, and she knocks it in to give her team a 5-point lead.
Yeah, and a little confusion from the Pacers there. Not exactly sure who that underhanded pass was intended for, and it shows, and it ends up as a deficit for them on the other end.
Here's Williams now inside, working hard. Can't quite get it to go. Good effort inside, but that's solid defense by Walker.
And you expect maybe some type of call to be called right there. Very physical, but the refs letting them play, and if that's how it's going to be, you know, go with it.
Let the bigs roll, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Attack them inside.
Here now is Price running around the left side. She's going to give now over to Wiley, and Wiley can't hit. Rebounded by Cross. Cross looking to race down the court. She's got Hansard beat, and that's going to be a foul called on Sarah Beth Hansard. It'll be the second foul here of the quarter for Piedmont. It's now Berea College, as William Peace University. I'll get it right eventually. Trails by 5.
We have a couple players checking in, and Daniels for the Pacers has really been great down here in the past couple of minutes, leading them on breaks especially. Good defense and leading the charge too quick for the other team to handle in transition.
Here now the inbound pass to Daniels. Daniels, 3 minutes left to play in regulation. Her team down by 5, needing a basket. She's going to give back out to Jamisha. Jamisha Sanders in the lane. Can't quite. Oh, she did. I don't know how that ball spun back in. You put the air brake on and drove it right back down the hole. Good job by Jamisha Sanders. It's a 3-point ball game.
And Sanders continues to provide for her team down here in the stretch.
Foul called there on Lauren Cross, putting Piedmont on the line to shoot 2. Now Carla Cantrell will check in for Piedmont. She'll come in for Wiley. Mackenzie on the line. Free throw is no good. Still a one-shot ball game here. 2:45 left to play. Getting down to the last seconds here. 165 seconds remaining. That one's good, so a 4-point lead for the Lions.
And really, these free throws down the stretch here are going to be crucial either way. You know, you got to execute when it matters. You got to get these free points, and this is whoever really takes that lead on the free throw line can take this game.
Here's Ray able to stay with it. Impressive dribbling. She'll kick out now to Cross. No good, and it's going to be rebounded by Holloway. Holloway dribbling through a number of Lions. Now the mid-range 2 in transitions. No good. To be pulled in by Price. That's hard when you're moving like that to knock that down, but Piedmont now going to look to increase their already sizable 2-shot lead, a 4-point lead for the Lions.
And now it's do or die time for the Pacers on the defensive end. You got to start rebounding.
Oh, and Walker, right, an incredible run, and she's all smiles. One hand, one paw, if you will, grabbing onto that basketball, towering over the defenders like a monster. We can throw another Space Jam reference out there, and throwing it straight off the glass and in. Beautiful take right there for her, and what a great game that she's had here in the late going, playing tough defense against Williams down on the opposite end and find herself a bucket to give her team a 6-point lead.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about all day and really stressed is that offensive rebound, and when is enough? When, as the Pacers, are you going to say, hey, we've got to put some bodies out there, maybe put a couple more bigs on the court, maybe that would help, but you really got to stop them from getting these second chance opportunities.
Tell you this right now, Lane, the 3-point shooting percentage for William Peace has been abysmal. It has been bad this game. 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. That dog will not hunt. That dog would just lay down and do absolutely nothing all day long. Sounds like me, actually. But with that in mind, William Peace, something's got to give. They got to knock down one of these shots, get those open looks, find your shooters in the right spot, make that happen. Otherwise, Piedmont's going to be walking to another conference championship game. And if you're William Peace, top 25 team in the nation, you can't let that happen.
Yeah, and that deficit in the three-point shooting really starts to show up as Piedmont's came on strong lately and hit a couple more. Now with 4 3-pointers in the game compared to the 1 for the Pacers, and that's 9 points. That's the entire deficit and then some right there. So can you start to get a couple of shots to go down from beyond the arc?
Now here's Lauren Cross. Cross now passing inside for Ray. It's going to be a foul called on Washington. That'll be the 3rd foul called on Piedmont here this quarter.
Yeah, and if you're the Pacers, you want every foul from here on out. You have got to make sure that you are being aggressive, forcing the issue, and drawing that contact, because that's going to give you the best shot to get back into this one.
Parton will inbound. Finding now over to Cross. Cross, oh, she twisted her ankle there. A little discomfort, but she's still strong enough to go in. The 3 from Parton. That one no good. Rebounded by Piedmont. Now here's Machenzie. Machenzie stopping, hitting it off the glass, and in. Good take there, and Piedmont now leads by, watch out folks, 8 points. Here's Daniels looking for something. The miracle can't fall. It's pulled in by Price. Amari Price off and running, and she's got numbers. A little 2-on-1 action. The no-look pass to Machenzie on the low block, and it's no good.
And you like to see the unselfishness, trying to get her teammate involved. They don't get that one right there, but currently sitting with an 8-point lead, less than 90 seconds to go.
Minute 08 left to play as Daniels can't hit either. If those aren't hitting from the low block, man, it ain't going to be a pretty last minute here for William Peace.
Yeah, and had a great opportunity right there. They were within 4 at one point and just steadily fought themselves back out of the game with some rebounding. That's what it's ultimately led to. Piedmont just too many chances at the bucket.
Will we have another rematch between Berea College and Piedmont? Man, oh man, that's going to be a wild one if indeed that's the case. Piedmont leads by 8, 37 seconds left. Make that 10, and Piedmont's bench goes crazy, and rightfully so.
And when you start hitting shots like that, you know it's really deflating as the Pacers, and the coach is visibly frustrated.
And on the Piedmont side, Jamie Purdy hyped right now, and she's got another chance to make it to the national tournament here. 20 seconds left, a 10-point lead. She'll call off Hansard. Hats off to Piedmont, hats off to William Peace as they will hold this basketball. And that's going to be it, Lane, for this day of basketball action as Price will hold it, dribbling around. And I like seeing Khadijah Daniels make sure that
fight
nothing
to the
easy
end.
goes there,
Absolutely.
grinding all the way through. And at the end of regulation, the Piedmont Lions are going back to the conference championship game where they'll take on the Berea College Mountaineers. Little jawing here going on here between a couple of players down at the down here in front of the broadcast booth. Not a good spot because we're journalists. We'll point that out.
We're going to hear you.
But Piedmont wins this one by 10. They're looking to repeat, or three-peat, I guess, or four-peat maybe even as conference champions here in the USA South. And, man, that's going to be a fun one tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. But hats off to William Peace. Heck of a game that they played. Let's start with them, Lane. Their season ends, unfortunately. They get a standing ovation from their crowd. I love seeing the effort and motivation out of them. And Piedmont celebrating right now. And they should. Good game overall, I would say.
And William Peace, you know, even if you that you lose this game, I think there's a lot that you can take away from this. This was your first playoff berth.
Zero to heroes, man.
Exactly. You know, just getting here is the big thing. And to compete with one of the best teams in this division, I think they're doing a great job. I think that program is on the come up, and they're going to be here for a couple years to come.
So with that, Piedmont will play at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in the Eastern time zone.